everyone, my name is Alana Morgan, your Miss Teen California, United States, and welcome back to another Beverly Hills School Board candidate interview. Today I'm here with candidate Noah Margo. How are you?
I'm doing very well. Thank you, Alana.
Yes, so your platform is all about transforming education. Could you tell us a little bit more about that?
Sure. I was recently inspired by the work of Sir Ken Robinson, who wrote a lot about transforming schools away from the traditional factory approach to teaching from the industrial age of the United States and moving them into more of a creative, forward-thinking, problem-solving environment, basically where facts are not as important as what you do with the facts. Mm-hmm. And because as a quote in the book says, the world economy does not pay you for what you know, Google knows everything. So the world economy pays you for what you can do with what you know. And I think it's behooving to us as a school district and to schools across the country to take that approach in how we teach, because it's become kind of a rote learning environment and teaching to the test. And we need to have graduates who are forward thinkers, contributing to society and the progression of society, right? If we and it's just, we need to take a little bit of everything and start mixing it up a little bit. And I think that's where transforming education comes in. There's lots of ways to do it, cross-curricular. We're even, our new buildings that we're building that will be opening next year invite that kind of learning. We have structures that invite that kind of learning now, more open structures. So I'm excited about it. I really am.
Mm-hmm. And as being a graduate from Beverly Vista and Beverly Hills High School, you've seen not only our school district and our education system change in many ways, but you've also seen our schools change as well. What are some major changes that you've seen that you think needs to be discussed?
Well, I think people need to take responsibility. When I went to school, people took responsibility. There was accountability. If students were having the problem, then it was the student's problem, right? And they had to work that out. There's this new culture of everybody pointing the blame to somebody else as opposed to owning it. And I think in order to get back to where we talk about a lighthouse district, that lighthouse district was founded and sustained on families and teachers and principals, which we call stakeholders, that all took responsibility for the success of students and didn't point the finger to anybody else but themselves first. And I think that that's how you generate success. That's how, teams win championships, is when the players take it upon themselves to do their best, right? That's the same thing in any organization, and public school is in itself an organization, and it needs to have all of its stakeholders say, how can I be the one responsible for making this whole thing work better? And then do that, whether it's study harder, whether it's teach better, whether it's supervise better, whatever it is, whoever's responsibility, they need to own it and act on it.
Mm-hmm. I think that's very important, and being responsible is extremely important, and I'm happy that you mentioned that. And so you've also been able to strengthen our school safety. Can you tell us how you've done that?
Well, we have this board and the previous board has invested in not just money, but time and research to create the hopefully safest public school environment in the country. Of course, that's when our buildings are done and reopened. Right now the schools are, I can tell you they're 100% safe. Nothing is going to happen to our students on campus right at this moment, because of course they're not on campus. It's the only time we can ever make that claim. So when they do return, we want to make sure that we have single point entries for any visitors coming. We want our students to feel safe and secure, because if students can be in school and feel safe and secure, and later on we'll get to the happy element, which is part of the mental health of my platform, is safe, secure, and happy students and teachers are going to teach and learn better. If you're worried about anything during the course of your day, it will distract you from being a successful learner or a successful teacher. So I think that's really, really important. And I think our program, which uses technology, which uses personnel, which uses training, is going to provide our students, and what we're trying to create in Beverly Hills as a place where everybody wants to come learn. It's an element of that. The instruction is an element, and safety and security is an element. And those are elements that I think are really strong facets for our district and will push us forward, becoming better and better as everything kind of falls back into place after the pandemic.
And like you said, we aren't in school right now, so we're doing distance learning, online learning. And one of the major problems that teens are concerned about is screen time and looking at a screen all day and having to do their work on screen all day. And then afterwards they're tired. How would you help teens' voices be heard, like in relation to like screen time at this particular moment?
We are receiving, as a current board member, I'm receiving many emails from students and parents, and I'm glad they're speaking out. I know that there are discussions going on between the district office and site administrators in how to reduce the actual screen time, not reduce the instruction time, reduce the screen time. I bought these pair of blue light
blue light glasses.
Blue light Warbies here. These are my Warbies. I haven't needed glass since I got LASIK, but I've been spending so much time on Zoom meetings, I needed to do something about it. So I did. But I think that the students have a point, and hopefully some change will come quickly in alleviating some of the concerns about the amount of actual screen time, not like I said, not instructional time, screen time.
And so you've talked about things you've already done, about your platform. What are some other qualities that you possess that would make you the best candidate?
I would first and foremost say experience. Being on a school board is a very difficult volunteer job, and it requires skill sets. And when I first got into it, I had already been a public school teacher and a contractor. And I think that, so from day one, I had experience in public education. And all I've done is built on that in my last 2 terms. And I think that the experience, my ability to be pragmatic and level-headed, and take issues with data and facts and not supposition, and be able to make decisions based on those things, I think those are strong attributes that I bring to the table, or the dais, as the case may be.
And moving forward, what are some other plans that you have in the future, that if you were to become one of the Beverly Hills School Board members, what are some other plans that you really hope to move forward with?
So I think we talk about construction, and there are candidates discussing construction, and that the board's job is oversight. We also have a CBOC, a Citizens Committee, that provides oversight. So as far as oversight, we have that covered. As far as accelerating construction, that's really not something that we can do unless we have to do it on the front end. We have to make sure we get all the obstacles out of the way in order to move quickly through a project. Because of the location of our schools, we're in residential areas, we can't work triple shift schedules. You know, we have to just work a regular day because we exist in a residential zone. That being said, we took advantage of COVID and we moved things along as far as demolition of one of the bridges. The swim gym is getting renovated right now while nobody's here. And we also took advantage of in building A and did, I don't know if you've seen the flooring and painting project.
Oh, the flooring.
Yeah, so that was something that we were able to accelerate because we did not have students on campus. And those were advantages that we used wisely, I think. I actually pushed for, depending on how long the pandemic was going to last, I was going to try to do the entire building A project inside and outside, in and out the classrooms. The problem was we have to weigh when we're going to get back. And if kids start coming back, we can't be painting. So we're going to do, I think, postpone the other one until next summer, finish, which it was always scheduled that way. So that's one of the elements I'd like to see. We finish up the high school. During the next 4 years, we'll finish up B1, B2, B3, B4, which is the Peters and the Performing Arts Annex. We'll have, that'll all get done in the next 4 years. And hopefully the new athletic building will get done. The site work may not get done in that next 4 years, but it's scheduled to be done in the next 5 to 7 years. El Rodeo will also get completed in the next 4 years during the next, hopefully my next term. That, and I've talked about mental health component. I'll bring that up again. Very important after this pandemic to have students feel very, very mentally safe and ready to work and contribute, because this thing really, for lack of a better word, this thing really sucks, this pandemic, and it's really thrown everybody for a loop. And we may think we can just go back to school and everything's going to be okay again, but the whole world experienced something that nobody has ever had before. So we have to be able to talk about it. We have to be able to move through it. Some people had personal crises in their families because of this, and we all just have to come together as a community and mentally make sure we're in the right place. And we as a school district need to have the resources for students to be able to do that and to feel comfortable doing it. It's one thing having people to talk to, it's another thing getting people to talk to them. So
Exactly.
that component is there. And of course, the idea of transforming education, looking at putting some issues into the curriculum to make our students more well-rounded. I was really thrilled that we passed the financial literacy requirement last year.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
That was something I spearheaded, and I think it was very necessary.
Wow.
But environmental issues and other issues dealing with, either tolerance, inclusiveness, social issues that we want our students to be more equipped with in dealing with when they get out into the world and what's out there for them. Because I think we live in a kind of a sheltered area in Beverly Hills, and we don't really understand what's going on in the rest of the planet all the time. And I just think expanding our curriculum a little bit to make sure people have an understanding, not tell people how to think, just let them know, here is what's out there. Here is what you should know about. So I think that's very important moving forward. The other thing I wanted to think of, let's just say, to answer your question, I've been looking at the rankings, high school rankings, and what are used for high school rankings. High school rankings, a lot are determined by the number of AP courses offered and the number of students who take those AP exams. And we could do a better job in our district of doing a couple of things.
I've heard about that. We can
require students to take one AP class while we're here. That would greatly improve our rankings. We can also require students, and this was tossed around a few years ago, but if we have every student who is not thinking about applying to college, apply to a Cal State University and get in, will improve our statistics on getting into four-year colleges. We can't tell people where to go, but it's a very, very small investment into having all of our students take an AP test, take an AP class, take an AP test, and help students apply and get into four-year colleges. We could do that. And like I said, it's a minimal investment on an annual basis, and it will help. What that does is help increase the profile of the school. And then when people are looking at schools, they'll say, "Oh, look at how Beverly Hills is a really high profile."
Rankings.
That's exactly right.
Completely agree with that.
So that's something else I want to bring to the table, or like I said, the dais when I get back to in hopefully in November.
I think that's absolutely amazing, because I have heard about the rankings, and I think that it is important to help with the courses, like you mentioned, to help bring up our rankings. So when people do look at our schools, they look at our rankings and they can see that we're also ranking high in like AP classes and courses as well. And so lastly, after talking about your platform and the qualities that you possess and just other stuff that you want to bring to the table, what other things would you say differentiates you from the rest of the candidates?
Since I don't know them too well yet, I'm sure there'll be other things that differentiate us. I know Frank and I are both native New Yorkers, so I could say so something I don't have in common with anybody else is where I was born. But I think for me the most important thing that differentiates me is not only my experience on the board, my experience in life that I brought to the board beforehand, but what I've done with that experience, my accomplishments, how I've really advocated for everybody, for students and teachers as we've moved this district forward. And I think that there's no substitution for that. And I welcome 2 new members to the board and their ideas and their contributions. I feel like I am not done yet with what I set out to do when I first ran. I think we're in the right direction, but I'm not there yet. And I would like to finish what I started as an example, not only for my children, but for the community that I felt going into this thing 2 terms ago that I had an end result in mind. I had an end result with construction. I had an end result with transforming education. And now we're getting to the point where we can do it. This COVID epidemic has shown us that you can teach students outside of the traditional classroom, right? Sometimes successfully, sometimes maybe not as successfully. But what it showed us is that the traditional classroom may not be the be-all, end-all best way to continue to deliver instruction. So I am very passionate about that and very passionate about seeing that through, because I think we can put ourselves back on the map as one of the greatest school districts in this country if we embrace the idea that there are better ways to do things.
I love that. You made some excellent points. And like you said, we aren't in the classroom right now, but we're learning online. We're learning new ways to just overall learn in general. And a lot of people have become familiar with technology now. So there's your pro to the whole thing. So thank you so much, Mr. Margo, for joining us today. It was a pleasure getting to know more about you and about your platform overall. Once again, I'm Alana Morgan, your Miss Teen California, United States. And make sure you all tune in to the candidate debate on September 30th.